Good morning, everyone. It's 6 a.m. where I'm at right now in the United States. So, wherever you're at in the world, whatever time of day or night it is, welcome. Thank you for taking the time to spend with me today. This is my next video in my series, My Life as a Rock Fan, talking about my introduction to the rock band FireHouse and my time as a fan, how my fandom online with them got started, and the history of it up until now. So, when I'm looking off camera, I'm looking at my cheat sheet. It's the only way I can keep these videos at a reasonable length. Okay, so my first FireHouse song was Love of a Lifetime. It's their world famous chart-topping power ballad from 1990. I first heard it on the radio or on TV, I forget which place. I first heard it in, I would say, the early 2000s, late 90s, early 2000s. And in 2009, I remembered it enough, and hadn't heard it in a while, and I pulled it up on YouTube and kind of fell in love with it for real. And this time I purchased a copy of it, a virtual copy from iTunes, to have in my iTunes library. And for me as a fan, that's where my fan commitment usually starts, with purchasing the music itself. When I start doing stuff like that, then it's a safe bet that I'm signing on for the long haul. So, fast forward now, I talked about this part of the time. Talked about this part of my FireHouse story in the end of the previous video about Stryper, where I talked about Perry Richardson, the former FireHouse bass player, joining Stryper in 2017, and subsequently talking about his gig with FireHouse quite a bit, which at the time I'd never heard of FireHouse. I did have the one song, Love of a Lifetime. So when he started talking about them, I knew who they were. I didn't know anything else about them, though. And yeah, at the time, I admit I was not really thrilled that Perry was now a band member, because he'd replaced Stryper's longtime bass player Timothy Gaines, who I was way more fond of. But I started to get to know Perry a little bit at the beginning of his run with Stryper, so I kind of learned to like him through that. But then he also piqued my curiosity about FireHouse, so I went online and I did more formal Google search and found the official FireHouse website, the social media pages that they were on, and then the history of albums. The song Love of a Lifetime appears on their 1990 debut album, self-titled debut album, FireHouse. But they had done other albums since then. And I found other songs that they had done, other ballads. They'd done more than one ballad other than that one. So all that happened at the time that Perry initially joined Stryper. So I continued on with Stryper stuff off and on until 2022, when the Stryper stuff kind of ran its course for me, and I was ready to kind of take a break from it and go on to my next rock and roll adventure, and that would have been FireHouse. So once I did get a compilation album of theirs that was available on iTunes. I think it was not a fancy title like the Essential FireHouse. It wasn't anything like that, but it was a compilation of all their different hits. So I had other songs to listen to, and I found out what albums those came from, and I bought. Let me look at my notes here. Yeah. So it didn't take me long before I had a collection of maybe the compilation album, that first compilation album, and then their debut album. I started building up my CD collection, all on CD at this point, no vinyl, but I started building up my album collection from there. And where things really changed for me what really put my fandom on a whole new level was I found lead singer CJ Snare's official Facebook fan page. They had that page, he had that page, and then he had a second page that was kind of a private page for personal friends and family only. One of those pages. He has to send you a friend request before you can be a part of it. I'm getting ahead of the story though. Bear with me. So back in 2022, I was on Twitter at the time, now known as X, whatever, I still call it Twitter. But I didn't really like Twitter, so I focused on Facebook, the FireHouse Facebook page, the blue checkmark page, and CJ's fan page. And I didn't really spend any time. You can, on the personal band member pages, you can look at their photo gallery, and that's about it. You can't react or comment. You can read what's there, and you can look at the photos that they've uploaded, but there's no interaction with them directly unless they send you a friend request. And again, I digress. So I went on CJ's he had a blue checkmark verified fan page, so I knew it was really him. I introduced myself. This was on June 19th, I think the date, June 19th, around end of June. I introduced myself as a fan. I just picked a post at random, and I think this was a slightly older post that had been done the year before, but I introduced myself as a fan, and I described getting Love of a Lifetime. I said, that's the only song that I know of, and I've got the debut album already from 1990. I was kind of asking people, just any of the fans who might want to respond, what do you all think? What would you recommend to be my next purchase for an album or whatever? And CJ himself came on under the CJ Snare blue checkmark account, and he says, "Welcome to the FireHouse family." Aw, yes, that's exactly how I felt. I did not expect that so soon. My expectation is when I'm online for the first time as a fan on a band's social media, they don't know who I am. None of the fans know who I am. I have no right to expect any special shout out or treatment or anything like that. So to get that from CJ on my first post I was really stoked about that. So I kept going. After that point, I went. Now normally I do have an Instagram account, but I seldom used it at that point because I just didn't like. I knew how it worked, how to upload photos and comment, and react and stuff. I just didn't care for it. It seemed like it was too limiting. Like Twitter, Instagram, nah. Facebook is my thing. But I gave it a try. I found CJ's Instagram page. His name was Snareco1, SANERECO, and then number 1. And then his profile photo, and I believe he had a blue check mark on that as well. So once I found his Instagram account, I just went through the gallery of posts that he'd done, all the photos and videos. I just picked them, a random selection. I just scrolled through the list, anything that caught my eye. I reacted, left a comment, whatever. Not really expecting anything to come of it, because again, I'm a new fan. He doesn't know me from a hole in the wall. Seemed to be a very friendly guy, according to that one post. So I was encouraged, but I kept my expectations very modest. And I left about a week later, a few days later, something like that. Very soon thereafter, after I'd done all these comments and posts, comments and reactions on his Instagram posts, I went into Instagram and my notifications list was blown up by Snareco1, Mr. CJ Snare. And he was following up on all the stuff that I had done. He was And again, I just started out with one welcome to the FireHouse family, and now he's blowing up my Instagram notifications. And prior to that, I had like 300 followers. They're looky-loos. They didn't interact with me at all. So he was the first one in June of 2022. Blew it up. Got my attention immediately to the point where I made a video of it. I took my phone and I aimed it at my screen on my computer on my laptop. And I filmed myself scrolling down the list so that there was too many notifications from him to fit on one frame where I could have done a still photo of it. No, I did do a video to capture everything that he had done. Wow, so that was a very good day, needless to say. So now we're going to November 2022. Then we started our direct messages back and forth. And now this is the part that I can't quite figure out why it happened this way. And if you know what is happening, if you know what had happened based on what I'm about to tell you, let me know in the comments. Because I always wondered about it, but the direct messages showed up on Facebook. It's Facebook direct messaging. We now call it Facebook Messenger, but they had his Snareco1 Instagram name and profile photo. He had a different profile photo for each of his accounts. 2 on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter, which, as I mentioned before, I'd stopped fooling with fairly early on. Glad I did. Again, too many limitations. 240 characters only, and then it cuts you off. Forget that shit. So then, now, in November 2022, our first Facebook/Instagram, I don't know how his Instagram account factored into this, but it was represented somehow. It was weird. But anyway, when I did my direct messages with him, that's where I went. I went on Facebook. And then in January of 2023, we started chatting back and forth through his fan page, his verified fan page with a blue check mark. And so while we're doing this, I'm still continuing doing what I'm doing on the public pages, my posts, comments, and reactions. And I will say this much, when he blew up my Instagram page, I learned how to use Instagram through my interactions with CJ Snare. Nobody else gave me the opportunity to practice because they never talked to me. I'm like, why are these people following me? If they're looky-loos, they don't say anything. They don't even react to anything, but he sure did. So I learned how to use Instagram on my phone, which is mostly where it works. And then there wasn't too much you could do on the laptop on Instagram at the time. But in the years since, you can now do more stuff with it. So I spent a lot more time on my phone app with Instagram. And got the repetitive strain injury on the thumbs, holding the phone and doing this. And ow. They're still painful to this day. And I use Voltaren. It's anti-arthritis cream. I love it. It works great. And it's all because of the phone. I will never get mad at CJ for doing that. I always love that. Thank you, CJ. Anyway, so I'm whizzing right through these notes. I'm getting better at this script stuff. Not really a script, but anyway. So we continued our off and on, our chatting back and forth, increased in frequency, and I never expected a response from him, though I sent him the first one. And what did I say it was? I have to look back through my notes. June 2022. When I started the direct messaging, I never expected a response. Well, up until this time, he had been proving me wrong each thing that I did. Okay. So always my hope. I became more hopeful over time. But then, it might take him a week to get back, or he might not answer me at all. He's a busy guy, so this is great. Whatever he's got time for, I'm thankful for it. But the more we chatted, the more the chatting went on. We would sometimes chat through the course of a day, maybe a couple times back and forth. He wasn't taking a week between messages, so I could see that he was really warming up to me and he was really feeling more comfortable talking to me. And remember, I was talking earlier about sending a friend request, and I said, but wait, now this is the part of the story. And obviously, there is way, way, way more that I could share with you guys. I have more of the story than what I'm talking about here. But again, I want to keep these videos a reasonable length, so just be assured that if you were asking me to talk about this offline, we would be up all night talking. We would be up for a while. So, with CJ, my fledgling online friendship with him took the most unexpected turn of all, and on September 3rd, 2023, I'm looking at my Facebook app on my phone. I think I was in the narthex of my church waiting for the worship service to start. And I looked at my notifications on Facebook and it said, CJ Snare sent you a friend request. Now, I know we've all had a lot of issues with fake celebrity profiles, but it had his profile photo that I recognized, and I clicked. I always investigate these things before I don't approve anybody right away. But I clicked on that page that was linked to that request. It was the blue checkmark page. Sure enough, it was him. But it was his personal account. So first I went to his official blue checkmark fan page, and then I found the link to the friends and family page, and yep, that was the one. So naturally I approved him, and then I sent him a direct message about it almost immediately. From there, I created a FireHouse fan group on Facebook. Now, I've done fan groups for Striper, a couple of fan groups for Striper in the past. Nobody ever joined them. And I just gave up on doing stuff like that because nobody ever joins anything I start. I'm lucky I get as much attention as a white crayon on my main Facebook page, but let alone starting a group where I'm the admin and I'm relying on people to come in and comment and participate. Nope, never happens. But this time, and I started the Facebook fan group. I called it Sparky's Firehouse Fan Lounge. I made a banner for it in Photoshop. I themed it out, and the reason I did that is because I had found a couple other fan groups on Facebook that were run by other people, and I went through two of them, and I didn't like them, and I decided, and CJ was in there with me at the same time. He was a member of the group, and so was I, and I would comment in the fan group, and he would respond back to me, and so it was just more of the same. He was just keeping it going. Same thing he was doing in direct messages and on his social media pages. We interacted on these Facebook fan groups a couple times, and by the time the first fan group, I felt like I was not being given a fair shake by the admin team. They would let my posts be pending for a long time, or they declined stuff that was clearly not in terms of service violation and petty shit like that. So, and it was a big group. It had over 10,000 members. It was like the big kahuna fan group out of all. There's a lot of them on Facebook. I researched all of them before I settled on that one. I picked it because it was the only one that had any regular activity on it that was current. The other fan groups people had started and abandoned. So there was really nothing to do there. So this one, by default, was the only one I could join. So it ran its course with me. So then I went back and I found there was another fan group right after that one that was again current and active, and I joined that one, and CJ followed me there too. And this was before the friend request. This was earlier in the summer of 2023. But the second fan group, um, his daughter Heather she was a member of the group too. So I had posted a fan magazine article from the 90s where it showed CJ and his wife at the time, Heather's mother. It was a picture of them backstage, and she had pregnant with a baby bump, which was Heather. And I'd asked about that in the fan group. I said, "Is this Heather Snare Brown's? Was that her in the tummy?" And because I was pretty sure that it was her based on CJ and the timeline of the photo itself. It was an article with a bunch of photos, and Heather herself came in and said, "Yep, that's me and my mama." And CJ, don't think he said anything about it at the time. I asked him about it privately, and he confirmed, "Yep," like I couldn't trust her, right? But yeah, so I asked him about it too, and he confirmed, "Yep, that's her." So cool. Now that I'm like, oh, now we're really cooking with gas. So now I've got him. Now I've got his mother or his daughter. I'm now interacting with his daughter. And another note on Instagram that was one of my highlights of Instagram, when he did a post, it was a video actually. He recorded these short videos of being on the road or at home, things he was doing. And he lived in Celebration, Florida, which is right around the corner from Disney. And it was, in fact, a manufactured community created by Walt Disney World in the late 80s, early 90s. And so he was very open about that. I didn't stalk him. Everybody knew that's where he lived. He talked about it very frequently and very openly. So he was a season pass holder. So he was there a lot, like probably every chance he got. So there were a lot of Disney videos like that, and this one was from Epcot. He had gone to an English pub called the Rose and Crown in the Epcot World Village. Is that the name of it? World Showcase, I think it is. It has all the different countries represented, and this was in the British town. It was a Disney pub. They named Rose and Crown. It was in there drinking a beer. It was a short video. The song "Love of a Lifetime," the studio version, was playing in the background, and he just came on camera. He had a glass of beer in his hand. He's greeting us, and right at the end, he says, "I'm just enjoying a beer here at the Rose and Crown in Epcot," and he said, "You know what they say? It's got to be done." In a British accent, he said it. I'm like, oh, British accents. I'm pounding the counter. On my kitchen counter is a male British accents for me. Oh my god. Oof. And I'd never heard him do one before. And that was the first time. I'm like, so I did a comment under that video. I put flame emojis and lovey-dovey hearts and just fully conveying my delight at him. Wow, that's hot. And then just kind of fanning myself, ooh, girl, and he got a kick out of it. He liked it. He did a smiling, laughing emoji in reaction. But that wasn't the best part of it. His mother, Barbara Snare, did a reply. She liked it. SnareCo1 likes your comment, and Barbara Snare, his mother, liked it. I know where her page was because, again, he shared it on his Facebook. So he was very transparent with those sort of things that way, where it was his friends and family, their social media. So I knew it was legitimately her. His mother. I'm sitting here being a total horn dog over him, and his mother liked it. I'm like, well, I don't know what to say about this. This is the coolest fucking thing that's ever happened to me. So I never sent her a friend request, though. I felt like, whoa. She probably would have sent me one, hell, at the rate I was going, but I didn't choose to do it. I didn't think it was really that, but Oh my god. I did a screenshot of that, sir, and I have a collection of FireHouse goodies on my MacBook, of a folder of all my screenshots and band photos and fan magazine articles, this, that, and the other hodgepodge of stuff. That's what I always do with each band I'm a fan of. When I interact with other fans and I share shit with them. So yeah, that's among them in my that's among the many things in my FireHouse folder. His mother liked it. Oh my god, I was almost as delighted, but then kind of embarrassed. Well, she's obviously not a bashful woman, is she? It was so cool the way it happened. So anyway, back to the Sparky's Firehouse Fan Lounge. So after that second, the group where the fan group where Heather commented on my post, now I'm not going to budge. Now I'm going to plant roots in this group and not move. So the next time I took a couple days off and then I went back to it, I didn't do a screenshot of her. I do screenshots of the post and then my comment, any reactions, kind of for like a scrapbook kind of thing, virtual scrapbook. I didn't do one at that time for Heather's comment to me, so I went back to do it again. To do that, it'd only been a couple days, like a day or two, the next day, whatever. The group, I clicked on I had the link, I had hot linked on my Facebook wall, so I could go right to it. I left the big group in the dust. I didn't fool with it. It was just that one. It was gone. Like, what the hell happened? No, it just disappeared, and I didn't even remember the name of the group necessarily. I think I probably went back and did a Facebook search for it, and of course the one with 10,000 members. All I remember about that one is the admin was a person named Jan, and you know how you can go on and look up their profile information. It said they're based in Poland. Or not that was that relevant, but what part of the world are they in? It gives you information about them. But that group, as far as I know, is still going strong. But this one, Heather Brown likes my comment. I go in the next day, it's gone. So I'm like, well, hell, okay. We have wins and then we have losses, and that was a loss, but I still had CJ. So I wasn't totally screwed, but okay, all right. So I know that weird stuff like that happens all the time on Bookface, as I call it, and YouTube and social media. So I try not to rely on any one thing and have that be my end-all be-all. But so anyway, I started my own damn group, and then this way nobody can kick me out of it and nobody can delete the group. So I started the group, I built it, like I said, I'd done Striper groups before where I created them. I started fan pages for Striper, like the professional pages, or like a fan page. So I knew how to do all that part of it. So it didn't take me long to put together the group and build it out. And I told CJ about it in our direct messages, and I sent him the link. And then the very next day, went into the group, and guess what? You know it. CJ Snare asked to be in. He's sending you an invitation to join. He wants to join the group. I'm like, and I created a series of screening questions for potential members, and there were 3 of them. And you have to answer these questions before you can be considered for approval. And he answered them because he had no other choice, really. But it's like, how long have you been a fan? How many albums do you own? And then something else after that. And the first question was, it put founding member. I have a screenshot of that too. I can't get to it right now. It's like founding member was the number 1 answer. Number 2 answer was like yes and then no. So founding member, yeah, I'm a fan. So it was cute the way. And then with that, I had at that point 6. He was my 6th member. I had 5 other people in the group, other fans as members. They didn't do shit. Again, whatever. But so now I've got CJ. Yeah, okay. Y'all can go kiss my ass. I got CJ. That's how he looked at it privately. I'll be honest. Meh. So they didn't know that. I don't, because he did comment on, like, I do a post and he'd comment or react like he was always doing. Um, but since the other group members were not involved, they never saw him in the group. He did it obviously through his personal account. This was after the friends and family page request, because you can only invite from people you are friends with on Facebook. Like, I could not create a group and then invite a verified blue checkmark page to be a member. You can't do that. It has to be personal friends only. He saw to it that that was the case. So all these, over the course of a couple of years, all these little wins that kept happening, the small wins, very unexpected, very, hello CJ, what are you up to now? He was always surprising me that way. And let's see. Okay, I'm almost on my last page now. How am I doing? 31 minutes, okay. So I'm on my last page of notes now. Almost there. So I kept the group open. Well, I can't. Oh, I'm getting ahead of myself again, looking at my notes. Oh yeah. So now I have to. This is the part of the video that I was kind of dreading having to talk about this, but if you don't already know, CJ passed away on April 5th, 2024. He had had a couple surgeries for colon cancer, and his most recent surgery was in 2023 was the year before, in October 2023. So he was unable to. FireHouse was supposed to start a tour at the time they did his surgery, and he was really. He posted updates for us on Facebook. I'm really want to recover, and he was good for. He'd had this same surgery, colon cancer surgery, a couple times, and the first one was in 2021. They removed the first. I don't know what all they did. Whatever you do during colon cancer surgery is what was happening. None of us knew what it was about. I didn't know what it was about as a new fan. That was in 2021. He took a series of photos of his hospital room, and he's in the bed in his scrubs doing this, and I'm alive, and that's what I found on Instagram my first time there. All these cool photos of him on the road and at home, and all his weird little hobbies that he had. He collected knives, and he liked to shoot guns, and yeah. And then there he is in a hospital bed, looking all cute and hot. I'm like, no, nothing in the caption, just, okay. Context would be helpful, CJ. I thought that to myself, but obviously this was an older post that other fans at the time were in on, so they knew what was going on. But I'm like, why are we in a hospital bed, CJ? I was very concerned. I knew he was fine, obviously, because it had been over 2 years, and he was, but I'm like, oh boy, I wish he had posted a caption giving more information, but he didn't. So then that was the first one. Then the second surgery photo, all we got was a picture of him in aqua scrubs, an aqua scrub shirt, kind of like doctors wear. He's backed up against the wall. I don't know if he was standing or sitting, but it looked like there might have been a emergency fire pull, one of those wall thingies you pull in case of fire, and it sets the sprinklers off on the ceiling. It looked like he was standing next to a wall with one of those behind him. I don't know where the hell he was, but he just had a scrub top on, smiling, and then that was the post where the surgery's done. He talked about it leading up to the surgery, the second surgery. That one I was in on from the beginning, following him throughout the previous year and a half or 2 years before that. So this time I was prepared for it. I knew he was going to be coming up. And the start of the tour kind of clashed with his surgery date. So they hired a temporary singer named Nate Peck. A young man, very talented young man. He'd been on American Idol. And CJ was a part of finding him, and CJ was kind of gave him the green stamp, green light of approval, and he's good. And so Nate was only supposed to be a temporary fill-in, and then CJ was on at home recuperating from surgery, and that's all he wanted to do was get back on the tour. It was just driving him to distraction, as most lead singers will tell you is how they feel. Anything that keeps them from being on stage, they lead up. That's what they live for, is the tour. Most of them do. Well, some of them don't, and then they should probably have retired 10 years before that, but whatever. The ones that are really in it to win it, and it's still their passion and their love, touring is the bomb. That's what recording an album is great, but the purpose, then they spend a year or two in the studio or however long. Then they want to, it's all leading up to it. We got to take this thing out on the road, perform. They've been locked in the vault, the windowless, dark vault of the studio for so long. Tour, and that's what they live for. Anything that prevents that from happening, grrr, they hate that shit. Oh my God, it's like taking away the air that they breathe. They don't like it. And CJ was certainly no exception. And this was the first time that I'd seen a band member go through that process. But I know how lead singers and musicians feel and think. I speak their same love language. More on that in future videos. But I knew how frustrated he was because he told us about it. Guys, I'm getting better as fast as I can. He's sitting at home, clawing his eyeballs out and scratching. I don't think he was really doing that. Gross little metaphor, but you know how you get when you get restless and anxious and you're... Yeah, that's what he was going through, recovering, and I'm sure it probably hindered his recovery. I don't know that for a fact because after he posted that one photo in the hospital after his second surgery in the aqua scrub shirt, he only posted 5 other things before his last post ever, wishing everybody a happy Easter at the end of March. And they weren't current photos, they were past photos. So, again, I don't know if he had chemo, and I don't think he would have had chemo and radiation going on, number one. If he was, I don't know. But he had the surgery photo, and he still had his hair and his beard, so he was fine. But I don't know what happened between that and that photo in October and then. So we're all waiting with bated breath as much as he is. We're just as anxious. But the band, with CJ's involvement and approval, hired Nate Peck to fill in for video on vocals. And I will admit, he's a very talented young man, and I've heard him sing. He's not CJ, but he does. He could be CJ's younger twin brother almost, and he kind of dresses a little bit like him on stage, and he sounds. It's harder to not replace, but you can't change lead singers as easily as you can other band members because somebody's vocal style is very iconic to a certain era of the band's career. And if it's the one that made them world famous, they have a long history with the fans, and fans get really attached to them. God help the next poor bastard that tries to come in and take over lead vocals, because he's not gonna do well, because there's gonna be people that move on and they're now loyal to the new guy, and then there's gonna be other ones that fuck this asshole, bring the other guy back, bring the original guy back. Well, in this case, that was never a possibility, and this is my show and tell portion that I'm almost wrapping it up. So, oh yeah, my last private chat dates with CJ, where I sent him a questions that will forever remain unanswered, on the Facebook / Instagram chat. My last question to him was on August 27th, 2023. And on the Friends and Family page, the personal page, February 19th, 2024. He didn't respond. Now, again, even after all that had been happening in our history of interactions, I still shot him a question. He'll answer it when he has time. And the fact that I was consistently on his radar screen at all times, and he had escalated. Now he's sending me a friend request, and just more and more of the same as time goes on. Even with that, nope. I stayed modest. I stayed humble. I don't expect anything. He'll do what he can when he has time. I certainly had no complaints at this point, but those were the last two that, and I still have all of these chat transcripts and Messenger on my computer. I wish there was a way to print them out, maybe make a movie out of them. I have to look into that because like a personal scrapbook thing. But anyway, so here's the I almost forgot. This is the post on his fan page, Facebook fan page, where he welcomed me to the FireHouse family. Now I'm backwards here. This first red arrow is me asking my question, and then the second red arrow is him responding, "Welcome to the FireHouse family." And that's how I do my Photoshop still shots for things like that. I do red arrows and smiley faces and yellow highlights if it's depending on what it is, but that's that. And this is his death announcement on the FireHouse, and I'm going to read it to you. If I ever learn how to do real post-production work on this thing, I want to do that. But for now, you have to take the Fred Flintstone. I'm just going to show it to you and then read it to you. Water. This is how I found out about CJ dying. And this is just the text part of it itself, the message itself. There was a photo of CJ over here on this side, a vertical photo of him. But I didn't need to print out both of those things and waste ink just to do this, but I might get a little bit verklempt at this point. I might just FireHouse, April 7th, 2024. Today is a sad day for rock and roll. It is with great sorrow we are letting the world know we have lost our brother, CJ Snare, the rock and roll warrior, lead vocalist, and a founding member of FireHouse. CJ Snare passed unexpectedly at home Friday night, April 5th, 2024. He was a young 64 years old. As you are all aware, CJ was expected to be back on stage with the band this summer after recovering from surgery. Again, no statement about but at this point I'm like, oh, okay. Whoa, this was the first not so good surprise I'd had in a while. I expected to be back on the stage with the band this summer after recovering from surgery. We are all in complete shock with CJ's untimely passing. CJ was arguably one of the best vocal talents of a generation, touring the world with FireHouse nonstop the past 34 years. Our heartfelt condolences go out to the entire Snare family, Catherine Little, who was his girlfriend / fiance, friends, and all our beloved fans all over the world. Reach for the sky, CJ, and that was a FireHouse song, Reach for the Sky. You will be forever missed by family, friends, fans, and your bandmates. You're singing with the angels now. And I found this message on my Facebook wall first thing in the morning when I got up out of bed. I was making breakfast or eating breakfast, checking my Facebook, and that's how my day started on April 7th. And here we are today. So, what are we doing? 45 minutes. I'm not doing too bad. Okay. So, that is all I need to. Those are all my notes and my show and tell things. So I've got all that done. And this is not the last time I'll be talking about FireHouse and CJ. But just to establish the foundation for my history as a fan, how it started, like all these other videos. These are not one-off discussions, but just so I have it said that this is how I started as a fan. So I admit, when I was preparing for this video, I haven't really cried over his death, and I'll do videos about that in the future. I want to do videos about how much do fans have a right to grieve, should fans grieve when they don't know the band members, and yeah, I'll talk about all that. I have opinions. But anyway, so that's that. But I did, yeah, as I was preparing for this video and I was making this video, and I was looking through my FireHouse gallery on my MacBook and watching old videos, listening to songs, and I still follow FireHouse on Facebook, and I'm still a fan, but I'm not ready to move on just yet into the Nate Peck era yet. CJ's death it's only been a year, and it's still too raw, and I'm not sure how I want to proceed with that yet. It's hard, you know. As you've heard in this video, my interactions with CJ online were the culmination of all the other fan experiences I'd had prior to this, online with REO Speedwagon and Striper and Rush. This was the culmination of, now I'm finally getting the private one-on-one time with a band member that I always prayed for, but I could not achieve it on my own. It would have had to have been offered freely, and it was. So, and he made so many of my rock and roll dreams come true. Private rock and roll dreams like that he had no idea about. Because I never got a chance to meet him in person. Never got a chance to see FireHouse live. So, it's all online. So I have to look into that Messenger thing and see if there's a way that I can create a QuickTime movie, right? It shows the entire history. It's long. So if I can even make a paper scrapbook out of it somehow, that would be even better, but I'll look into that and see. Alright, so the FireHouse story is not finished yet. I have a feeling there's more chapters to come, but for right now, that's my start of my FireHouse story, and I'm sticking to it. Let me go upload this and start getting ready for, drum roll please on the counter, Scorpions, Rock You Like a Hurricane. Klaus, wait for it, wait for it, wait for it. Oh, this one's going to be the best one of all. But I had some other things I had to do first. I did those things. All right, let me go upload this. I will see you guys soon. Leave me a shout in the comments. Let me know what you think. Bye. For now.